"Leave," Avaz commanded. "I need no companions. Your presence would burden me more than help me." But the assassins persisted. "Your father commanded us. We cannot disobey Gorogli and return. We will be useful, we swear it. We won't slow you down." Their desperation seemed genuine. Their loyalty seemed real. Finally, against his better judgment, Avaz nodded. "Fine, but stay behind me, and if I sense betrayal again, there will be no second chance." And so they rode together, 3 men, 2 hearts filled with murder, 1 filled with destiny, the assassins already plotting their next attempt.
For 40 days and 40 nights they traveled, through scorching deserts where the sun tried to kill them, through mountain passes where the cold tried to finish what the heat had started. The assassins stayed close, always smiling, always helpful, always watching for their moment. And Avaz stayed vigilant, never fully trusting, never fully relaxing. Finally, the towering peaks of Darband Mountain rose before them like the spine of a sleeping giant. "We rest here," Avaz announced. The assassins nodded eagerly. They were exhausted from maintaining their charade. As night fell, they collapsed into sleep.
Avaz felt the exhaustion in his bones. Sleep called to him like a lover. But as his eyes began to close, Girkok appeared. The horse grabbed Avaz's clothing in his teeth and pulled, again and again, refusing to let his master sleep. Avaz remembered then his father's words, spoken before the journey. "My son, if Girkok becomes restless and won't leave you alone, know that enemies are near, either among those who travel with you or hiding close by." Avaz's eyes snapped open, his hand moved to his sword. Danger, but where?
Avaz made his decision. If there were enemies nearby, he would find them. And if there were no enemies nearby, then the only enemies were the 2 men sleeping beside his fire. Either way, blood would be spilled tonight. He rose silently and began climbing Darband Mountain, searching for any sign of hidden threats. The assassins slept on, unaware their lives hung by a thread. As Avaz reached the mountain's peak, he looked down the other side. What he saw made his breath catch. A desert stretched before him, vast, dead. Its name was whispered in fear throughout the land. Bodbakt, the desert of misfortune. In that cursed desert, something moved, something massive. Even from this distance, Avaz could see it was enormous. What kind of creature traveled through Bodbakst at night? What kind of fool? Or what kind of monster? There was only one way to find out. Avaz descended the mountain, mounted Girkok, and rode toward the dark shape. The legendary horse sensed his master's determination and carried him swiftly across the sands. As they drew closer, the moonlight finally revealed what approached: an elephant, a war elephant, massive beyond belief. And riding atop it, a warrior who made the elephant seem small. The warrior atop the elephant was built like a fortress. His beard was white as mountain snow, flowing down a chest as broad as a door. His arms were thick as tree trunks, scarred from 1,000 battles. This was a man who had lived a long life, because he'd killed everyone who tried to end it. Avaz rode directly into his path and called out, "Halt! Who are you, and where do you travel?" The giant looked down at the young warrior on his horse. For a moment there was silence. Then the giant laughed, a sound like thunder rolling across mountains.
"Get out of my way, boy," the giant rumbled, his voice like grinding boulders. "Move aside or I'll crush you beneath my elephant's feet like an insect." But Avaz didn't move, didn't flinch. His hand rested calmly on his sword hilt. "I asked you a question, warrior. Answer it, or I'll take your head from your shoulders right here, right now, and leave it for the vultures."
The giant's laughter died. His eyes narrowed, reassessing. This wasn't some frightened traveler. This was a warrior, young, fierce, unafraid.
You have courage, boy. Foolish courage, but courage nonetheless. Very well, I'll answer.
The giant settled back on his elephant, making himself comfortable, as if sharing a campfire tale. I traveled to Chambil, he said simply. Avaz's blood turned cold. Chambil, his home. And what business do you have in Chambil? The giant smiled, but there was no warmth in it, only death. I go to kill a king named Gorogli, and then I will capture his son, Avaz. I'll drag him in chains to the Shah of Arbotin, who has promised me a great reward. The giant spoke casually, as if discussing the weather. My name is Maqotil. Remember it well, boy.
The Shah of Arbotin promised me his daughter's hand in marriage if I succeed, Maqotil continued, pride in his voice. She's 105 years old, but still a prize, a reward worthy of Maqotil. The giant had no idea that he was confessing his murder plot to the very man he sought. He saw only a nameless young traveler on the road, nothing to fear, nothing to worry about. Avaz sat perfectly still on Girkok, his face a mask. But beneath that mask, his mind was racing. His father's life was in danger. His kingdom was in danger. And this giant, this killer, stood between him and his quest.
Silence fell across the desert of misfortune. Heavy, thick, deadly. Maqotil, the legendary warrior killer, sat atop his war elephant, completely unaware he'd just confessed his murder plot to his intended victim. Avaz, son of Gorogli, sat on the legendary Girkok, his hand resting on his venom-coated Isfahan blade. 2 assassins slept on the mountain behind him, waiting to kill him. One giant killer sat before him, planning to murder his father. And somewhere beyond the desert, a Malika waited in an impossible palace. Avaz had promised to return in 16 months. Time was running out, and now he had a choice to make.